What's up, everyone? As you can see, I'm outside now. Couldn't take being inside too much longer. My skin hasn't seen the sun in a few days, so decided to go for a walk. Try and get some pictures, for the Instagram. Instagram.com/DareToCapture. Go follow me. And yeah, I was out walking and I thought to myself, what kind of video could I make out here? I haven't done a video outside yet, so I thought to myself, yeah, let's try and make some sort of video. The video I thought of making was 5 tips on how you can instantly make your videos that much better. How can you instantly make your videos better? So, in this video, I'm gonna give you 5 tips on how you can actually make your videos instantly better. Those 5 tips are lighting, sound, software, motion, and location. Now, as you can see, none of those tips are anything fancy. They're just facts about how you can instantly make your videos better. Moving on to tip number 1, lighting. Lighting is easily going to be one of the most important aspects of any video that you shoot. Whether you're a photographer, a filmmaker, no matter what, lighting should always be one of the first things that comes to mind when you're trying to set something up. If you're not putting any emphasis on lighting, you can very easily end up with a shot like this, where as you can see, it is clearly not nearly as appealing to look at. Now, I know I'm not the best to look at, but basically blocking myself out with too much light or too little light is going to be useless for my videos. Your audience wants to see you, your audience wants to see what you're trying to show them, and the only way to do this is to have good lighting. So for example, being in direct sunlight can actually add a little too much sun to your shot. So I can barely see the camera right now, so I know you can barely see me. If you're filming inside, you can easily use a window. Window lighting is some of the best lighting that you can use for any video that you're shooting. Typically, you're never gonna get direct sunlight through a window, so any light you get is gonna be soft enough to where it's not gonna be too harsh on your face. And if you couldn't tell, the window I'm using is literally right here next to me, and as you can see, the lighting is pretty much perfect. So always keep that in mind. If you're filming inside and you need a place for good lighting, always look for a window. Moving on to tip number 2, sounds and music. Now, you may be surprised at exactly how much better your video is when you add sound and music to it. Most of the time when you add music to your videos, it doesn't even need to be very loud. Just having music in the background of your videos is going to be enough to really separate it from the videos that don't have any music at all. When you compare a video that has music to a video that doesn't have music, you're really going to be able to tell the difference. The video without music is always going to feel like it's missing something. However, when it comes to music, you really need to be careful of the type of music that you choose to play. The music you choose to play will really set the mood for your video. So if you have a video that's supposed to be intense, or you have a sequence that's really intense, you don't want to play music that is very lighthearted and happy. The same goes vice versa. If you have a really happy moment in your video, you don't want to be playing music that is super intense and kind of makes you want to run through a brick wall. So be really picky about the music you choose to play in your videos, because they can really take away from it or add to it. And don't think you need to stop at music, you can also add sounds to your videos. Now, depending on the type of video you're making or the type of moments you have in your video will depend on whether or not you add sounds to your video. So for example, a good type of video to always add sounds to is a B-roll video. I have a B-roll video, and I'll put a link up there. And if you watch that, you can see that I actually didn't add sound to it. Although the video itself isn't bad and there is music in the background, having a little bit of sounds would just make it that much more dynamic. And a more dynamic video is probably gonna make it that much better. So I'm slightly disappointed in that, but in future B-roll videos that I make, you can guarantee there will be certain sounds just to help add more to that video. So again, don't be scared to add sounds here and there to your videos when they make sense. Sounds won't always make sense in your video. You need to make sure the sounds make sense, you need to make sure that the music makes sense, and when everything makes sense when you add it, it's only gonna add more to your video so that you have a better video in the end. Moving on to the 3rd tip that will allow you to make your videos instantly better, learning your software. Understanding your editing software inside and out is only gonna help you. It's not only gonna be something that allows you to speed up your workflow, but it's gonna be something that can probably allow you to do things that other people in your niche probably can't do. It's one thing to have a basic understanding of your editing software, but it's another to have a full understanding and be able to do whatever you're trying to do with your videos. Think about it. If I only had a basic understanding of my editing software, I probably couldn't be doing things like this or other things like this. And the best thing about any editing software out there is that there are tons and tons and tons of videos about how you can use it. And you want to know a great resource to look for when you're trying to find new things about your editing software? YouTube. YouTube is guaranteed to have a ton of different types of videos about different things, about any editing software you want to use. So that's something I believe that everyone should take advantage of no matter what. And who knows, there's probably going to be some tutorial videos about the editing software I use on this channel soon. You know what? I take that back. There will definitely be tutorials on this video about the editing software I use. As you can see, shooting outside has its advantages and disadvantages. Well, wind is clearly one, so that's one. And the lighting keeps on changing. There's a lot of clouds today, so that's fun. That's fun to deal with. And yep, that's another reason why you need to be careful and always conscious of the light that you choose to use. All right, moving on to tip number 4, and that's motion. You should always try to add some sort of motion to some of your shots in your videos. Now, is there anything wrong with not having any kind of motion in your videos? No, but if you want to take that next step, if you want to add a new level to your videos, you need to add some sort of motion. Now, when it comes to having this motion, you want to make sure that it's intentional. You don't want to have movement that's from camera shake, from holding your camera like this. You want any type of movement in your videos to be seen as intentional. And no, camera shake in a vlog type video is not an intentional movement. Now, if you're somebody like me that does a lot of videos where you're just sitting in front of the camera, it can sometimes be a little difficult to add in some sort of movement to your video. However, the good thing is that your editing software is going to have something that's going to allow you to add some sort of movement to your videos, even if you're just sitting in front of the camera. And because I'm going to have that luxury with my editing software, I can easily move this frame to over here, I can move it to over here, I can move it down there, and move it back to center, just that easily. And even with that tiny bit of movement, your audience is going to be much more engaged. Just that tiny bit of movement can help your audience be more engaged in your videos. And when your audience is more engaged, they watch for a longer time. When your audience is watching for a longer time, then a lot more benefits are going to happen for you down the road. Alright, so as you can see, I am inside now. The weather outside was starting to not cooperate with me, so I had to make a move. Which I believe is a pretty good segue to my 5th and final tip, which is location. Location isn't going to be the most important thing about any video, but it's definitely going to play a huge role in every video that you make. Sometimes the location you choose is going to speak for itself. So like you could have Niagara Falls way in the background and you're not going to really have to do anything for your location. Other times you're going to be inside and you're really going to have to make conscious decisions about what is shown in the frame of your videos. For example, everything you see in this frame right now was consciously chosen for you to see. Nothing in this location is too distracting or taking your eyes away from me for too long. Which is another point about the location that you choose. Your location can really be distracting or help add to your video. If you're in a location where the background is moving or you have people in the background, that can really be distracting for your audience. When you have a location like that, it's really going to be hard for your audience to stay engaged and pay attention to what you have to tell them. But when you're in a location like this and you can actually manipulate the location around you, you need to take advantage of that. You don't want any distracting elements to be in your frame. So if you saw my desk before I started filming this part of the video, you'd understand exactly what I mean. Because there was a lot of things on my desk was messy, and I know if you guys saw that, it would definitely distract you from what I'm trying to tell you right now. Another thing that I want to mention when it comes to the location is your camera angle. Camera angle is going to play a vital role in every video that you're shooting. You really need to be aware of the angle of your camera and what it's actually doing to your video. For example, if I put the camera at too low of an angle, it's just going to look weird. It's going to look like you're just listening to a floating head, and it's going to seem like you can look up my nose and into my brain, and that's something I definitely don't want to have happen. And if I put the camera too high, that's going to seem even weirder, because how often do you actually see a camera angle that looks like this? It's probably going to leave you wondering why the camera is this high and why does it need to be this high. Hint, it really doesn't. So always be conscious of that, because you don't want your audience to be distracted or wondering why your camera is set up the way it's set up. There you go. There's your 5 tips on how you can instantly make your videos better. If these tips were something you found useful, then be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget about the subscribe button while you're down there too. And I know I mentioned this earlier in the video, but I'm gonna say it again. You should really visit my Instagram. It's got some pretty cool stuff on there right now, and there's only gonna be cooler stuff added to it in the future. While you're still here, leave a comment below. I wanna know what aspect of making a video you find the most difficult. Well, that's all I got for this video. I'm Steven from DareToCapture, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.